All right, so this week we've been working on order of operations, distributive property, and basically how to solve a problem. So today we're going to cover what operation we need for a given problem, meaning we're going to take a look at a problem, identify some signal words, clue words, keywords type things, and that way we know how to solve the problem. So in our book, I'm going to go ahead and just use one of the problems from the book. Okay, this is on page 74, and I'm going to be working through problem A. Tomorrow, you will need to come to class with problem B completed and ready to discuss B. But I'm going to do problem A. So again, you guys tomorrow need to come to class with B done and ready to go from B. All right, so let's take a look at problem A. Problem A says that Dan is selling fudge to raise money for the school band. Each box of fudge costs $8. 1 week he sells 15 boxes. The next week he sells 17 boxes. How much money has Dan made at the end of the 2 weeks? Well, this problem can be done a couple of different ways. So in my short amount of time with you today, I'm only going to focus on one of those ways. We know that each box is $8. So if he sells 15 boxes, then he's going to make the equivalent of what 15 times 8 would be. Okay, so that's one way. 15 times 8 for this week, in the first week. Okay, for the second week, he sells 17 boxes, and we would find that by taking 17 times 8, because each box is 8. Box 1 is 8, box 2 is 8. Together they would make 16. So 2 boxes times $8 would give us $16. So we're going to apply that, and we're going to add, whoops, that looks more like a multiplication sign. We're going to add these together to find the total for the 2 weeks. So 15 times 8 will give us week 1, and 17 times 8 will give us week 2. And then that will equal the total. So what we're going to do here is we are simply going to solve 15 times 8 and 17 times 8. So over here to the side, 15 times 8. 8 times 5 is 40. Carry our 4. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 4 is 120. So this one is 120. And we are going to add that to this one, which is 17 times 8. So over here, we're going to take 17 times 8. Okay, 8 times 7 is 56. Write the 6, carry the 5. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 5 is 13. So that's 136, which means he earned $136 here. Okay, so to find the total of those, we're going to add them together. So we're going to do it together. All right, so I'm going to use this number and move it over here. So we're going to add 120 together, okay, and 6 plus 0 is 6, 3 plus 2 is 5, and 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay, so Dan earned $256 in those 2 weeks. Okay, so we had to label our answer once we had it. And that way it identifies what that answer means. So let's take a look at the problem real quick. Let's highlight a few of the key things that let me know that I needed to multiply and add. Okay, first off, I knew that multiplication was going to be done because it said each box of fudge was $8. Okay, so that means for each and every box I was that could have meant that I added 8 15 times, but that would have taken a long time. Okay, and then I knew that I'd have to add those two things together, because once we got $8, 15 boxes, and 17 boxes, I knew I'd have to add all of that together because the question says, how much has he made at the end of 2 weeks? Okay, so that question right there implies that we should be adding our two things together. All right, so that's one way of solving the problem. All right, so We're going to show another way real quick. I think this would be easy. This is more like the distributive property, and we're going to take out a common factor here, and the common factor is 8. 8 is our common factor. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit farther on the page here. Whoops, not that way. A little bit farther down here, and I'm going to rewrite that expression. Okay, we had 15 times 8 plus 17 times 8. Okay, and that little dot means that we're multiplying. And I'm going to pull out the common factor. I'm going to what we call factor that out. Okay, so if I take that $8 per box, and then I could add up the total number of boxes. If I take 15 plus 17, that'll give me my total number of boxes. Okay, so essentially this right here, this form of our equation right here is the factored form, okay, because we are factoring it out. It's going to be the sum of two factors. Now right here, it's going to be the product of two factors. So we're going to take and we are going to add these together first, okay, following the order of operations. Okay, we went over that yesterday. So 15 plus 17. So 15 and 17. We add those together. That's 5 plus 7 is 12. Plus, bring up your 1. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. So that's 32 inside the parentheses and an 8 on the outside. Now we can multiply 8 times 32. So I'm going to go ahead and just multiply this 8 over here. And again, 8 times 2 is 16. We write the 6, we carry the 1. 8 times 3 is 24, plus the little 1 we carried up there is going to be 25. And so the answer is $256 because we're talking about money being made. So Dan made $256. So we've got this equation that would be multiplying by the sum of the two boxes, two total boxes. And we've got this one up here where we take week 1, this was week 1, and this was week 2. Okay, and again, I used the same thing. Each box was $8. I knew that I'd be multiplying my number of boxes by 8. And then to find my total, I'd either be adding up the weekly totals or adding up my total number of boxes and then multiplying. Okay, so that's how I knew. If you need to watch this video again, please do so. I know it's a little bit on the long side, but it might be worth it if you're slightly confused. And again, please come to class with B done from page 74 in the book, right here, page 74, and you're going to be doing problem B about the American football team. All right. If you have any other questions, please feel free to email or call, and we will see you tomorrow.